there you go.
Okay.
Is it recording? All right, cool. So, welcome, y'all. So, did you guys get a chance to look at the company agenda thing a little bit, or a little bit? So, what I want to start with is just I mean, we know each other, I think, for the most part, but I figured we'd have like a meet and greet and whatnot, and kind of talk about each other. So in this, just, you know, kind of tell a little bit about yourself and then your role in the company and how you want to contribute to its success, basically. So let's start with Paul, because I like Paul. Yeah.
Oh yeah, my name is Paul Relicio, or Luis Paulo Relicio, and yeah, I work at Valley Med as a nursing assistant. It's been great. Benefits are good. I believe that God encourages us to do business, to have our own business, so we can support other people and give them jobs or goals in life, and be successful. Just like Israel back then, they had their own lands and fields, and they have their own business basically. Then they, just like in the Jesus parables, there's we need laborers for the harvest.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's basically it.
The workers are few, but the harvest is plentiful. Yeah.
We used to be employees, then we become employers, so we can, be financially stable and support other people and help other people as well to be successful.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. So, my name is Zach. I work as a sysadmin at San Jose State University. It's pretty cool. And today we're going to talk about Kingdom Life Levelers in this new company, and we're going to see where God takes us with it. So today is going to be the first kind of formal introduction, getting this off the ball, and really helping us to clarify our mission statement and to clarify what we want this to accomplish in the bigger scheme of things. So, and from there, I want to transition over to James. And James, would you introduce yourself to the camera and the crew?
Hello, I'm James Grimmer. I'm the video producer in the company, and I have a few gigs going right now, nothing really long term. I'm kind of in between personal assistant, some caregiver stuff, and I was looking for a new opportunity where I can utilize my skills in terms of video editing and producing. I'm looking to expand on those and learn more and apply what I've learned.
Cool. I'm going to swivel it over around. Sure. So then, I forgot to mention the title. So yeah, I'm being the head of the company, CEO. Again, my name is Zach, and we have a few other members that aren't available, but they'll be informed on this. So we have Isabel, who is our blogging writer and also working on the finance side of things, and then Ryan Gore, he might be calling in later, working on as my social media manager, and then we also have Greg from the Bahamas, who's a friend of mine off of the techexams.net forums, and I have good communication with him. He's a good brother, and he's going to be working on the international side of things, and we're still determining his full scale and scope of what he's going to do in the company, but we're glad to have him aboard nonetheless. So with all that being said, our next item is going to be talking about the excitement we have for this and what you want this company to do in the dream and vision. So Paul, maybe you want to start this off and what you would like this company to do, and how we see it accomplishing the bigger scheme of God's glory and how we can move it forward. Does that make sense? I know it's a loaded question.
I think you're the one who's supposed to answer that one. Because you're the one who's supposed to
I know, but
questions.
I want to get input from the whole team because we're all essentially stakeholders and shareholders within this and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, the company belongs to God first and foremost.
Yeah. So like you said, helping people. We're just like building connections. So like networking, So this guy needs something, so we know to search for things or resources so we can get it to that person, make his life better.
Exactly.
It's basically it, like helping through connections, relationships, and just building the gap.
Yeah. James, do you want to add anything to that?
Sure. I'm in agreement with everything that he said, but what's been on my mind is how we can, make a difference to people, and no matter how big or how small that is, and being a blessing to them is what appeals to me the most, I think.
Cool. And you want to swivel it around, so Yeah, and just kind of adding to the conversations from Paul and James, like I said, what I want this company to do is really take the heart and soul of Matthew 6:33, and even going before that to verse 31, where it talks about how your Heavenly Father knows your needs. So what I want us to be able to do is take that verse, take that concept, and really run with it to improve people's life, to be kingdom bearers, to be people that not just promote the gospel, but people that are able to expand and move forward in all things. Oh, and it looks like our food is here.
Tortillas. Philly steak.
Philly cheese toast right there.
Yes, this is for you.
Cheese, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No problem. I'll be out with the rest.
Great. So, with that being said, we definitely want to take the concept of Matthew 6:33 and implement it, because I believe God gave me a vision on this, because that verse really resonates with me, not just on the spiritual side of things, but I feel that between that context and 6:31, where it talks about He knows our needs, well, Jesus also says, "You will give to those, and that will be the least of us." So. That's what I'm hoping the goal and vision of this to be is. I'm looking for this company to not necessarily just be not another like Christian company organization where it's like a get rich quick kind of thing. I want this to have some meaning and prophetic impact on the world, and I think products and services are a part of that, but I want it to be uniquely diversified and be in a way that it doesn't look like something that is going to be got more food. Awesome. Thank you very much. So we definitely want this to be something that's unique but also prophetic at the same time, and that, as Paul mentioned, we want to be able to help people, but we want it to be just something that's really going to have a big impact on the world, and that's where I definitely want to see things moving forward in that direction. So the next thing is the company logo and setting on the final version. I know we've had some sketches. I believe, Paul, you've had the one that I think the most people have resonated with, at least according to our thread we've been having going on, and I haven't gotten any other designs from anybody else. So what are we all thinking on that design, essentially? I wish we could have Isabel and some of the other ones in this and stuff, but I'm kind of just working with what we've got and stuff. But what do you feel about?
We have more logos in the future too.
We can definitely brand stuff more logos, but I mean just like the main company one that's gonna like symbolize the entire company, because we can always have other logos for other products or services or expand our offerings, but we definitely want to make sure that the one we do use, it totally brands the company in a unanimous way, in a holistic way, so that way like when people see our logo, that they know who we are essentially and stuff. And so what are your thoughts on it? I guess I'll start with you and we'll just do a round table around.
I kind of like that logo. Because levelers, you know the L, it's up, it's like a level, step by step.
And that's what I was kind of thinking. And it also reminded me of the in the video game analogy things, when, as you know, James, when you level up and stuff, your stats usually go up and things like that. So I think it kind of has some symbology and prophetic connection to that as well too. So
Because that's what I was thinking of when you were, when we put the logo, when you were
when you told me about it, the name of the company, level, yes.
exactly.
Leveling you up.
Exactly, and that's what I wanted to kind of combine, is the biblical aspect of course, being the primary thing, but also kind of mix in the element of video games. Because one thing I learned at Game Church is how they use the gospel to reach people and keep that message simple. I also learned a very smart, not a smart thing, but I'd say it was a very a simple message and stuff. And the more you're able to talk to not just gamers, but just like keep the gospel on such a small level, I think it helps elevate people to a higher level. And that's kind of where a lot of the thinking came to me, is using the gospel, of course, as our basis in the biblical sense, but also keeping it so that people can connect the two together, because I feel that's what Game Church did very well, and that's what helped give me some of the ideas about how to reach people that may not understand the gospel, or they may not understand it in a way that speaks to them and stuff outside of the, I guess, church religion context of things and stuff, and just really keeping it simple and stuff. So cool. James, did you have any other additional input you wanted to say on the logo?
I mean, I think it's...
Or you think you covered pretty well? So
because I had something similar in mind. I was talking about the deal with the Carnival Hammer game. It goes up when you hit it. But I don't know, I think yours is a bit more... It illustrates it better, I think, than what I was thinking.
Something about it needs a crown because it's a kingdom.
Yeah.
So when I look at, I Google the crown, then I see this crown. Then I see like the circles on top.
Yeah.
So it's like 3 people, and like the 2 people helping the other guy in the center.
Yeah.
So that's what I saw in the Google.
Oh yeah, no, and
So I have to put that in.
I was really impressed with the logo, and it really hit me. I know for me, like when I saw it, I was really surprised. I felt like that was really capturing the vision of the leveling up aspect, like of the video game side of things, but also like taking it a step further with the biblical kingdom aspect of it. So
And then the shield just added really cool, but it has symbol because we're fighting. We're fighting for people.
Exactly, we are fighting for people. That's exactly right, brother. So, all in favor of the logo for KLL? Yes? Okay, so we're going to go with that. That's the logo we're going to be using for the business cards, and we're also going to be using that for the t-shirts. That's going to be part of one of our next topics coming up. So, and we got Ryan calling in. Hey, brother. Hey, so we're recording right now, so do you want to say hi to the group? So I got James and Paul here, so just maybe just introduce yourself and just kind of your excitement for this and, going forward, like how you want to participate in this. Hold on, let me put you into, actually let me put you into Skype, hold on. So let's get him on Skype actually, so let's do that. So, yeah, so where's my...
Take your time.
Yeah, actually, we could have him on Facebook chat, right? Would that work too?
It doesn't matter as long as it probably sounds better like on Skype or whatever though.
Let me see. Let's put him on Skype actually. Actually, Skype would probably work.
Yeah.
I think I have to download it though. So let's.
Yeah, I wanted to put a sword there too.
Yeah.
and the helmet.
That. Yeah.
I think what we have is a good foundation.
Yeah, it's good right now.
Yeah. No, definitely. No, definitely. So let's get that on here. Hopefully this downloads everything. In the meantime, while that's downloading and stuff, before we get Ryan in there, so like I said, we want to use that logo for the t-shirts, and that's something, Paul, I want to definitely work with you, because what I would like to do before our next meeting is have a set of the shirts. We could maybe create a first line of them and have one for each of our members and stuff. I'll try to work with Greg on seeing how I can ship one out to him and stuff, but I would definitely like to get us all working with that branding thing, because what I was thinking we could do is once we get the shirts and stuff, we can create a company photo picture, because that's going to go on the website. That's one of the reasons why I collected the directory information from you guys, because I want to put those details on the website and stuff. So, and James, did you get ketchup everywhere?
And I know you print shirts, don't you?
Huh?
You printed those shirts.
Yeah.
The one I got. So I don't know if you're going to be involved in that, but
The problem is I don't know. I'm not good right now with graphic design.
Oh.
I can do lettering, but I can't do the shield.
Well, Amazon does have a service where you can print, send designs and get them printed out too. So that could be a possibility. We could go through them. I mean, yeah, they take a certain cut, but I mean that could be an avenue we could consider going into that avenue and stuff. Wow, that's downloading really slow. That might make things easier. But yeah, so that's what I was thinking going on the t-shirt aspect of the discussion and stuff, is that's an avenue we can consider is Amazon, because you can send designs to them, and then once it gets approved through there, then you can get it printed out as many shirts as you want and stuff. And I think they take a small percentage for processing or something like that, but it shouldn't be that much, I don't think. I mean, I think it just depends on how big of a volume or bulk you buy them, but we're a small team too, so I think that probably wouldn't cost us all that much, probably. But so that's one avenue I'd like us to look into for that and stuff, because it would also help with not just the branding, but also marketing who we are and stuff, and really get our presence out there and stuff. So that's something we definitely have to do, because that way when like you're with like people at school or wherever you are and stuff, you can just bring it up, and it makes for good talking conversation and stuff. So, and what I'm thinking though for the color design is I'm thinking I like the logo, but I was thinking of black on white and stuff, like the text being in white and then being on black. I'm really like feeling that on the design, but I wanted to get your guys' input as well too and stuff on that. So, because I think the levelers thing being in white, it's like it almost represents like holiness and also being like cleaned by the blood. And then the black around it means like that the light is shining from the letters and stuff. So even though there's darkness around, the light is what shines.
So black shirt and white.
Yeah, the black shirt, but the logo being in white, where it says like the Kingdom Levelers and things like that. So let's see. Almost downloaded. Okay. Let me check. Oh yeah, you got your hotspot up. Okay. Let me look for that. For the for the shirt colors and stuff. That's what I was kind of thinking.
What about you? What color?
But go ahead and put in your input while I'm getting this loaded up. And you know, bear in mind, we could also, you know,
I'll look at it again to make sure I know what you guys are.
yeah, it should be
I
in
can
the.
visualize it,
about
but I want to
gold?
make sure
Like
I
gold?
know what it looks like. Yeah.
And remember, when we make these shirts and different products and services, we can always use different color schemes
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of customization and stuff as well. So just, you know, bear that in mind that we have a lot of options on that as well too. So let's take a look. See. 1, 2, 3, 4.
What made you want to start a business like this?
So, I guess what made me want to start it and stuff, that's actually a really good segue on that, is I feel that I think part of it actually it was actually back from one of the discussions we had at one of the dinners with Zion that you invited me when I was with you and Leslie and whatnot. So Larry, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
So hadn't seen him in a while, but so it kind of came when you were talking about your t-shirt business and different things, and I was just kind of thinking about my general direction and where kind of God was calling me and stuff, and I always felt like I had that leadership mentality, and I kind of wanted to, you know, utilize that in a way that would both honor God, but also kind of use my talents in a very creative way. So I think that was part of it, and then I think another part of it was. Yeah, everything's great. Yeah, thank you. I think part of it was that, but I also I saw God kind of calling something bigger in my life, and I feel like this is a way that I could reach people with the gospel, but also use my leadership talents as well too. So I think it was kind of a combination of those different things, and you know, when you mentioned about kingdom-based businesses and stuff, and the entrepreneurial spirit of it and stuff, it also kind of lit a fire as well too, because there's a lot of that going on right now out there and stuff. So it's pretty crazy. So let's see. It looks like I got it.
It's prophetic too.
It is very prophetic.
The
Yeah.
kingdom of God became the kingdom of the kingdom of the Lord become the kingdom of the Lords, right?
The kingdom of the Lord.
That's basically what's
Yeah.
going to happen in the future, anyways. All these enterprises and industries.
Exactly.
It's going to become the Lord's too.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
ours too, because we're co-heirs with Him.
Exactly.
That's basically it. We're just going towards our destiny.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because you know, it's like Egypt, right? Egypt.
It's like Egypt. Yeah.
They were all employees there, Israelites. But that's not what God meant for them. Right?
Yeah, that's
so they were
true.
under hard labor, getting underpaid, you know, being slaves. You're not supposed to be like that. So I'm gonna take you out of there, put you in the land of milk and honey, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
You're gonna have your own farms. You're gonna have your own business now.
Oh.
So you don't have to, you know, rely on other people. You know,
Yeah.
Other kingdoms will rely on you now.
Yeah. That's
See,
true.
That's basically
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And they're gonna see the glory of God.
That's exactly
So
it.
that's basically it.
That's exactly it. So I think that's a lot of
Yeah.
the context of what made me kind of decide to work on that stuff. And I just, you know, I was also just, you know, I also kind of started as a creative project as well too and stuff. And actually one of the biggest inspirations of where I got the idea came from writing the book, which my brother finished the cover art for that recently, so I'm really excited about that and stuff. So that was another direct input, because while I was writing the book, it kind of spurred in my mind from the conversations that we had back from the Zion dinner, but also just like, it was almost like another sign or another indication of bringing this whole vision or this whole goal together and stuff. And you know, I also looked at it this way too, and I was thinking about a business. It's like I was trying to think of something that would really create hope and promote those kind of things. So it looks like we're gonna have him in, I think. So, hey brother, can you hear us? Hey, can you hear us? You there?
It's okay. It's gonna be
Yeah.
okay.
So, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. Can you hear the rest of the group at all?
Hello.
Can you hear the group?
Hello.
So this is
Hey,
this is
what's
Paul.
up? Paul.
This is James. So
buddy.
yeah, buddy. So I don't know. Can you hear their audio fine?
Yeah, noisy.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So what we've done earlier, just to kind of catch you up on what we've been talking about. So just give a brief introduction to the rest of the group and stuff about who you are and what you hope for this to accomplish and whatnot, and just kind of based off your own understanding and the discussions we've had. So go ahead and fire away. Can you guys hear him?
Not really.
Maybe there's speakers on.
It says speakers. Here, let's see. Can you guys hear him now? Why does it say?
Can you do
Oh.
it?
Why does it say speaker off? So
So did you register your?
I registered the domain name, yeah, already.
I mean your business name to the county clerk.
To the who?
The county clerk.
Not yet. It's on my to-do list. Yeah.
Well, you can.
You can definitely help me with that step. I gotta work on that.
You have to go downtown. It's fast.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to, it's called doing business as. So instead of your own name, you're doing business as Kingdom Life, whatever. Yours. So you can,
It'll be okay.
Yeah.
so you can put your expenses and everything that your gas mileage in that under that business name, and you can open bank accounts
Okay.
under that name.
Enjoy
You
it.
need to get employee ID number for your
Okay.
tax purposes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's true.
So instead of your social security, you can use all, but it's better to have a separate. Since it's fast.
Yeah.
And then you gotta have a business license to doing business in California.
Oh yeah. No, you should definitely. When you have time, let's. Maybe you could help me with that and all that. So.
Yeah. And you know that you can write things off, right? That's your business name.
Yeah, it's like business expenses and stuff. Yeah, I do know about that part. But so where was that place you were talking about?
The county clerk's office in Heading.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Where you get married and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Everything's there. It's like the county clerk's office.
It'll be okay.
All their legal stuff is there, like getting permits and stuff.
Okay.
Marriage licenses, employment too.
Oh, okay. So let's see, where was I on the agenda? Okay. So I know we got a little sidetracked there, it looks like, but okay, so, but still good discussion, of course, but let's see, where was it? Oh, there we go. So,
How are you, man?
but yeah, that definitely is on the to-do list,
Do it.
Paul.
Shall
So,
we pray?
yeah, so before we go any further on the teacher discussion, all that, let's do some prayer, and I guess I'll start and set it up. So, Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us together on this journey, on this mission. We thank you for the food that is in front of us, that you provide nourishment for our bodies, and we thank you that you are here, God. You are the great I am. You are always with us, and that we thank you for your presence being within us, and that we pray that all that we do in this, that we seek you, God, in all ways through the Holy Spirit, and we seek you through being able to bring the kingdom closer to other people, God, and that this company would glorify you at the end of the day. So I thank you for bringing James, Paul, Ryan, and all those that are involved in this new endeavor, and I just want to ask for your grace to cover us in all this, and that you'll be glorified in the holiest and the highest of all names. In Jesus' name, amen. So, all right. So now that we've got that covered. Okay, oh, his phone crashed. That's why his phone crashed while we were doing it. So yeah, I've been eating here and there. So
What's he gonna do?
Yeah, I think he's rebooting his phone right now. So let's see, where were we? I got headed up on the one page.
So where did you meet them?
Which people?
People.
Oh, Ryan.
For him, I know.
Oh, well, Ryan, I've known for over 15 years and stuff. I've known Ryan for a long time. I actually met him back from Game Crazy that was in Concord a long time ago, and that's where I first met him and stuff. And I used to buy retro games from there all the time and stuff. And just, you know, we kind of built a friendship there. And then, like, there was a couple of years where I hadn't really heard from him. Or, I mean, it's not that, I mean, we weren't like, you know, just life happens, right? I just hadn't seen him in a while. Then all of a sudden he reconnected with me on Facebook and just kind of went from there. But he's been one of my biggest supporters, you know, in all of my different seasons of my life, and he's always kind of been there. So that's one of the reasons why I invited him on this endeavor and stuff. And, you know, I also want him to also be able to see the love of Jesus as well, too, and stuff. Like, I think he knows who God is, but I really want him to really understand who God is, and I'm hoping that this endeavor can help bring him closer into that understanding and experience stuff, because he's had some, I guess, experiences that haven't been the best in the past, and I'm hoping that maybe this company will help maybe shed some of that light onto him. That's what I'm hoping. So, I mean, that's kind of a side goal of the thing. I mean, obviously the bigger goal is we've talked about for what the company's going to accomplish, but that's something I'm hoping that will help penetrate him, essentially. So, but onto the agenda of things. Let me pull that back up. Too many windows open. Let's see. So, let me pull that up fast. Oh, there we go. So, for the t-shirts and stuff, we kind of brought that up as a discussion point and a talking point. So, what are you guys thinking? Do you like the white on black for that, or do you want to have like a couple color SKUs? I mean, one thing we also can consider is we can also do multiple SKUs down the line of other colors and stuff. But I think for the first run, since there's only going to be like less than 10 of us and stuff, we just have a line for us as employees and stuff. And you know, from there we can always expand other product offerings and have maybe other colors and variations and stuff. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? Because again, all your input is, you know, even though I'm kind of, you know, running this all with you guys and stuff, I want you guys to all have input and stuff, being stakeholders in this. So it's important to have that relational aspect.
Yeah, I think it's good to have, you know, different variations, you know, different color variations. As I'm looking at the logo right now, maybe you want to have it like gold or silver on the crown. Maybe that's something to do with that as well.
That's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah. You know, those kinds of colors.
Black and gold would also be a cool thing as well, too, I'm thinking, so.
Yeah.
Because it symbolizes both the kingdom aspect of it, but also the holiness as well, too, and stuff with the gold. So, you have any thoughts, Paul?
Yeah, I got black and gold or white shirt and a black letter.
Because we can definitely have other variations, and that's kind of what I'm thinking is when we move forward, and you know, now that we've kind of, I think, all come together on the main logo and stuff, we can kind of proceed with a lot of those next steps and stuff, and going into the e-commerce side of things, which actually segues into our next talking point. So this is kind of a quick recap on the company vision and objectives. So we're just going to talk about the mission statement, goals, and objectives. So as you guys all, I'm sure, are familiar with, or we've kind of discussed at different points, is we want to make sure that we're following Matthew 6:33 when we're envisioning, because the company vision is, we can create it as a big statement, but really, if we want to keep it on a simplistic scale, Matthew 6:33, I think, is what symbolizes the whole company about seeking the kingdom first, and everything will be provided unto you. So that's what we want to instill in the people we encounter, the people we help, as we mentioned, like helping people. So we want to really instill that kingdom aspect inside of them, and like really plant those seeds and really help infuse the spirit that lives within them to come alive. So,
So what do we call our customers, a client?
we can call them clients, we can call them customers. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all people under the same God at the end of the day, you know, so, I mean, we can use those, you know, terms very in a flexible manner. I think if we're using like clients, it could be maybe other professional businesses and things like that, maybe churches and things like that. But
Also, we're not only helping individuals, but
we could also help organizations as well. I mean, we could definitely take this thing I think, as high as God would want us to take it. So I don't think that we could just limit to, I think for starting it, we probably could start with just talking to individuals, maybe on the street, like wherever we're going and stuff, but I could see it expanding into other organizations and stuff. I mean, I could definitely see this growing into something international and global. I could see it going to that, but I'm fine with us taking those first steps of just like getting the word out there and getting people to be involved in what this is and stuff. And we are going to probably have some throwback. Every organization that tries to do this kind of thing is going to, but we also have to remember what our mission is at the end of the day, because if we plant the seeds, we're still doing our job, you know. We're still putting the word out there, we're getting the gospel out there, and you know, getting things moving forward in a very biblical way. But I just want to make sure that what we do matches the mission and company objective. But does that make sense to you guys, like what we're trying to accomplish and stuff? And do you have any input you want to add to that vision? Or I guess, like I said, this could be an ever-evolving thing and stuff. And even though the basis is centralized around that, we can always expand it. But as long as we keep the main vision in the same sphere, because if we go too far out of the sphere, then we lose definition of what the company represents.
so basically, what's the main? How do you categorize this company? If you're gonna
How do we categorize it? How do we file it? I'm going to say, because we don't have a physical, since it's not like a physical store or a retail thing, or like, I mean, we probably will have products and services, but a lot of it can be distributed through digital outlets and different things like that. So what I'm thinking is classifying it as a internet-based company is what I'm thinking, because of the blogging through the internet resources, e-commerce, and different things like that, because the world is very digital, as we all know, and people buy and consume products through a very digital fashion now. It's like, I mean, people don't buy as many outside of t-shirts and physical stuff like that. For the most part, people like to get things in a digital thing, the way they consume entertainment, and the way, I mean, like when you think about movies, most people, they just stream something digitally. They don't buy a movie that often, or even like video games nowadays. Most people just download it online the day it comes out instead of having to go down to Target or Walmart or whatever and buy the, you know, physical game and stuff. So that's what I'm thinking we would classify it under, because we don't have the overhead of having a physical store. Now, that doesn't mean we couldn't do that down the road, but I think for the time being, the internet company-based outlet gives us a lot of opportunity, because we minimize our upfront startup costs. Because if we had to have a facility like this, for example, like a building like this, that costs you rent, you'd have to pay for the land. I mean, there's a lot of costs that are associated with that. And one of the things I'd like to do is keep our costs low, so it gives us more room to get the gospel out there and to use it to benefit other people. Because the more we minimize that, the more I believe that we can use that to bless other people. That's what I'm thinking. So, and I want to make us wise with the resources that God gives us at the same time as well, to be smart and intelligent about it, but also discerning. So, but there always is possibility for us to expand and have like physical locations and stuff. But I think starting on the internet digital side of things is how I'd want to classify it, I think, for the time being, stuff, because a lot of the products that we can sell, you can sell through a digital outlet. Because even if we do t-shirts, you go through an Amazon e-commerce space, or you go through an online portal, and then we just, you know, customize it and then sell it off and stuff, and then they take maybe a certain percentage or cut, and then we go from there. And actually, this is what's segueing into the next portion of our discussion, is talking about marketing and the social media presence. So Ryan is going to be doing a lot of the social media, but I need everybody in small capacities. Like, I know you're going to be doing a lot of the video editing, so maybe working with him to get the videos onto the page. Like, I've created the social media page. I may have to give you access or permissions. I haven't made a Facebook page in a while, so I don't know how the full thing works, but I can definitely give you access if it requires that stuff, as far as getting that. So like maybe you getting him the videos or different things. And then what I would like to do is, I need to have this discussion with Ryan, is creating templates for our products and services to really get the word out there. Because as we know, with social media traffic, a lot of those companies, they use templates, they use predefined things, and then they just kind of keep, you know, sending them out, you know, throughout the day, or maybe periodically throughout the time. That's what really helps create buzz and traffic. And they do it throughout the day, because we all know that in people's news feeds and things like that, word travels really fast, right? So you need to make your presence really well known. So do you guys have any suggestions on the social media thing outside of the Facebook page and how we can reach people? I know there's Pinterest, Instagram, and a ton of other tools, but I want to get your guys' feedback on what tools you think would be the most useful, because there's a lot of them out there, but I also don't want us to be overwhelmed with too many tools, because then that's going to be, it might be overwhelming. So I just want to get your guys' input on what tools you guys want to use for the social media aspect of it. Facebook's a given though, so.
Yeah.
Instagram, I think, could be useful once we start getting our products and services out there, because basically you can just put like pictures of our t-shirts or different things, put it out there, and then people see that, and it's a good way to advertise it and just give people a sense of what we're doing, and we can tie that into the Facebook page easily. So that's what I could see Instagram doing, or we could also use Instagram for like maybe company events or things that we do down the line, or like having group photos. Like I could definitely see it being useful for that, just getting our presence out there and who we are. And then Pinterest, I've heard a lot of good things about, but I'm wondering how we can uniquely diversify and angle that into our scheme. Do you guys know anything about Pinterest? I mean, I know it's a lot of pins and stuff, but
I don't really use it.
I mean, I see it more for people downloading like pics and like inspirational quotes and stuff, but I'm wondering if that would be advantageous to. I mean, and again, we can always change that in the ecosystem of our strategy and how we implement that within, but I think Facebook, I think Instagram would be good. I've also considered, I think Twitter might be good for the advertising side of things and stuff, because Twitter is also, a lot of people are subscribed to Twitter, so I haven't created a Twitter section yet, but I wanted to get your guys' feedback. Is like, do you think Twitter would be advantageous to us? All the avenues that we can? So I'm thinking Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to start with would be a good thing, and then we can always expand past that later and stuff, because I think Pinterest could be good, but I just don't know how we can angle it. YouTube, well, YouTube is another.
Facebook and YouTube is the main one.
YouTube is another thing I was gonna say is like when we're making videos, like things like this, like uploading this to our channel. Because what I'm thinking is after our meeting today is we get this video up on the page and we put the company logo up there and really start building that presence. Because right now we haven't put anything on there yet, but I'm thinking after this meeting and now that we've decided on the logo, we can get that up and running. So maybe I know James, you're pretty good with Photoshop and stuff, right? Are you pretty good with that stuff?
Yeah.
So maybe like working with Paul to maybe like create the outline, because he put it the rough sketch up and maybe like create the black in the background and just make the text in white and stuff. Maybe just to get that up on the webpage.
That's easy.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like just put the black around the text and put the text in the illustration in white and stuff. And again, we can create other different variations for the shirts really easily. Because our logo, I think it's a simple logo, but it's a very prophetic and dynamic logo. That's what I'm really excited about. The hidden meaning that it has underneath there and stuff. So I think we're all in agreement that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube will be good. So for YouTube, this goes into another conversation that we need to have is, so we mentioned online traffic and the SEO approach. So for SEO, do you guys know what SEO stands for? So it's search engine optimization.
Okay.
So what it's used...
I looked at that and I'm like,
yeah, so that's what I'm kind of explaining. So what SEO is, it's a way of you putting your website out there and other digital stuff through web searches like Google and other search engines. So like basically it optimizes so that your searches get more towards the top of the list, basically, because it goes through databases and algorithms and it aggregates your thing. So like say for example, we're Kingdom Life Levelers, but you know, there's other things that say Kingdom or there's other things that say Levelers. What it does is it tries to help promote that up to the top using different tools, so analytics and stuff. So it's like data intelligence and whatnot. So it just basically mines through the data and stuff. So that's what SEO is. So what that segues into is for the website, I definitely want that to be a platform of where their products and services get advertised, but how do you guys see YouTube kind of bringing this full circle into how we can use that in our, not just our offerings, but how we advertise the company and how we use it? What do you guys have ideas for on that?
like a AdSense you can use or something like that.
Go ahead.
Isn't there like an AdSense or something? I don't know if that's...
Yes, there's a Google AdSense, yeah.
Maybe we can look into something like that.
Yeah, Google AdSense could be something we could definitely look into on that, because you get, I think, paid on a per-click basis or something like that. And I mean, I think it's only like a cent or 10 cents or something really small, unless you get a certain number of clicks or something like that, I'm pretty sure. But we could definitely look into AdSense, because I think that's free to enable within websites or different things. And then also speaking on the advertising things, do you guys see any potential churches or organizations that might be interested in this endeavor, like that we could maybe like talk to? I mean, I think Larry and Leslie might. I mean, you know, so maybe the next time you see them, if you could maybe bring this up to them and stuff about kind of what we're looking to do and stuff.
Like basically their mission is like helping people.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then do you think James at Crossroads might be interested in something like this, or?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth throwing out there because I know you're a member over there and stuff, and you're.
I know they're focusing on other things right now.
Sure. But it could be just worth, you know, kind of just talking about there. And, like, I mean, that's one of the things I think we definitely should do is maybe other people we know or other churches, we can get support for this.
It doesn't have to be a church or like a group in the church, you know.
No, it can just be church-wide. It doesn't have to be just a specific group and stuff like that. So just kind of
I know
talking.
some people that there's
going to be some resistance.
some people I told that I was going to be involved in this, and they were kind of interested, and they wanted to see the website and then whatnot.
Well, the website is coming and stuff, but I wanted us to have this initial meeting and get a lot of these discussions in place because before this we've been kind of talking over the Facebook threads and things like that, but this is our first, you know, meeting to kind of really hash a lot of these things out because I've already bought the domain name, but I wanted to get the logo finalized and decide on that before we move forward because like I mentioned, I want to start printing our business cards and things like that because I actually at San Jose State I work with a print shop, so I can get a really cheap deal on printing out business cards and stuff because I know the manager there that prints a lot of business cards and stuff, so that's what I'm thinking. But I wanted to get this in motion so that way we could finalize that. So now that we've got that in place, that's where I wanted to see how YouTube could be involved in this, and I'd like to get the website up and running before our next meeting and stuff, so we have something tangible like to show people and things like that and stuff. And I may be reaching out to you guys about things you want to see on the website or suggestions because again, I want all of our input to be included. I don't want it to be just my feedback only and then like nobody else is included because again, I want this to be relational and like all of us have a say in what goes into this because we know that it belongs to God at the end of the day, of course, but we also want to work together in building each of us up as well too, because I think there's aspect of growth as well for us, not just the people we're reaching, but ourselves as individuals as well too. So, go ahead. Yeah, I know. I thought you had something you wanted to add to that. So we covered the marketing and social media aspect of it a bit and stuff. And one of the things I also would like to do is definitely, as we reach out to churches and talk to people and stuff, I think one of the things I'd like to do is once the website is complete, we show this to people and show this to churches that may be a little more, like they're interested, but they might be a little more hesitant. And again, I know that not every church or organization is going to be like, yeah, let's jump on this, because I know even with Game Church, when I've been involved with that, some churches like think it's like weird, or they don't understand it, or they think it's like almost like heresy or something like that, you know, or things like that, which is not, but it's just sometimes I know it's going to be a challenge to get that across. I don't see as much resistance from like churches like Zion and different things like that, but every church is going to be, you know, different in that way. So I think getting the website up definitely has to be a priority for all of us before our next meeting, and getting that in place. And I'm hoping that on our next meeting that we can get Ryan and Isabel here. I know Greg is going to be a challenge because of his international board thing, so I'd like to try and Skype or call him in for the next one and stuff, and I need to work with him on that, because what I'm thinking for Greg in this whole grand scheme of things is he's in the Bahamas, so he can reach people. We're here domestically, he can reach certain people internationally. Now, I still see this company being something that can go international over time, and you know, with God's grace and you know His blessing, of course. But you know, I think he could be advantageous in reaching people on that island or the surrounding islands around it, because there's other surrounding islands like the Jamaica and things like that and stuff. So he could reach a lot of people there. Because he's a very in the conversations I've had with him, I haven't met him in person yet, but in the conversations I've had with him, he's a very gospel-driven individual and stuff, putting God first. Like he mentions God in all his like certification posts and things like that. So he's a really good guy. So
Is that Ryan?
That's Greg.
Oh, Greg.
That's Gregory Arthur. Yeah. So
in the Bahamas.
he's in the Bahamas. Yeah, that's that guy right there. That's Greg. So this goes into our next topic, and we've kind of touched on this a little bit, but business assets and products and services. So what kind of products and services do we want to offer for this company that's going to be both edifying and prophetic? So we mentioned t-shirts, and I know we kind of talked about that in great length and stride. So I think we have a clear idea on the t-shirts of what we want to do. We finalized the logo, we know what we want to use, and some of the color variations and things we can do to sell. But what are the products do you guys think that we could offer that could not just create financial assets that we can use towards building people in the kingdom, but also make it edifying at the same time? Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Now, the book I've been writing, I will say, that is one of the assets I want to utilize with the company as well, too.
Books are good, yeah.
So if you guys maybe have like stuff you want to write into like an ebook and things like that, we can definitely do that as well too and stuff. But you want to make sure that it's obviously edifying in a way that's not just a cash grab, if that makes sense. Like something that's going to be really. But I think one of the things that we can do is setting the bar low for how much we want to charge as well too, to kind of start things up and whatnot. But I want to get your guys' input as well about what products you think that could be beneficial to people. I just don't want it just to be selling stuff for the sake of selling stuff.
Or we can have like a library, like of books that helped us in our Christian faith or whatever, and improving ourselves. And we can just let them borrow it. And it's hard to get those books in the stores, and they're expensive and stuff.
They are.
So
We'll
just build a library, and they can borrow it for a certain amount of time. So it can be a Christian library.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not like, but there's specific books that really help you. For me, like I have a few books that really help me in my life.
Yeah.
So if you want to borrow this, read this, so you can improve yourself, your faith, strengthen your faith, or whatever. Or resources, any videos.
Or we could charge like a short rental fee or something
we can do that too.
To do that. Just, we wouldn't make it like really expensive. Like what I'm thinking is if we do write ebooks, we keep it to $5, maybe $10 at the most. $5 to $10 is what I'm thinking if we do ebooks.
They get a free trial and stuff like that.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. As far as the t-shirts go, that's going to come down to how much it's going to cost from the distributors, and if we go through Amazon, they're going to take probably a 30% cut or a certain percentage of it and stuff. So if we go through that, we have to see what makes this feasible so that we pay them, but also we make a little bit as well too within that too. And another thing, that I'm thinking is we utilize potentially maybe Patreon maybe down the line or something like that, because I know a lot of YouTube things use Patreon. I see a lot of channels and a lot of things use Patreon, and then obviously using like a PayPal button for like donations and stuff as we spread the word to get it out there and stuff. Now that's another thing that you were mentioning earlier, is like we got to get the tax thing set up, so if people do contribute, we can give them like maybe tax contributions or something like that and stuff, just because that would make it, because I know for a lot of people when they give to charities and donations, they like to get that tax write-off. I mean, things like that. I mean, granted, you have to give a certain.
That's on their end.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, it's.
We just give them the receipt. That's it.
Correct. Yeah. No. Correct. I mean, but it has to have that tax ID though for them to, I think, to run it though against their taxes. I think, or it has to have certain. I think it has to have certain pertinent information so that when the IRS reports it and things like that.
Because you're gonna write it in your check.
Yeah.
The name where you donated and like underneath it has for.
Yeah.
For charity. I think that's all they need.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's
for our end,
Yeah.
You need your number.
Of course, the tax ID number and things like that. So that's something maybe when we have a day off, Paul, we can go and do that together.
I'm still studying that too.
Well, no, I know it's not going to happen right this second, but it's definitely something I think we can both go in together. We can both go in and do that together and stuff, and because I think our priority first though is getting the website up and running. I think would probably be the first thing is getting that up. And now that we've decided some of the products, but books would definitely be a good idea. As far as video content, that's what I'm curious about, how we can utilize YouTube now. What are you guys thinking on YouTube that we could use to, besides just regular marketing and advertising of who we are, but is there anything that you think that we could use YouTube for to do beyond just advertising who we are as a company?
Maybe we can have like, well, I don't know if people want to be like recorded. Depends on the person.
Sure.
Maybe people we've interacted with or talked to.
Okay. Yeah.
Or like if they're interested in our company.
I want to be broadcast on. Well, that's something we would just get their consent with if we want to do that. We would just ask them. If they don't want to, then that's fine. But that's actually a really good idea. Yeah. because if we have testimonial stories or like people that like have been impacted in a certain way, that would really help create our brand and image and kind of like give people something tangible to see what we're doing and stuff. Because you know, the website and the service level stuff, that's all great, but like when you get something that's concrete and people can see it, I think it makes it to a certain extent almost more believable. Like, I mean, granted, we move by faith, but I think there are certain people in the world where it's like they need more than just that. They need something to see and stuff, and if we give that, maybe that can help strengthen their faith in a twofold way. That's what I'm thinking. So that's actually a really good idea, James. That's a good idea. So
maybe we could like, I mean, I guess this is more like advertising, but maybe for like the library we can show like what we have.
okay,
You know, at the time.
yeah,
Or we can say, oh, this will be coming soon,
yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, no, that could be really good. That could be really good, yeah, for sure. So that's actually a really good idea. So we could definitely do something along those lines. And then as far as other products goes, have we thought of anything maybe besides t-shirts that we'd want to like create, like music?
I know you listed something, didn't you?
Did I? I mentioned a few. I think I mentioned a few things in the document. So I mentioned books, videos, and clothing. I think in the
Okay.
so for product offerings and stuff to launch the business, generate revenue, and things like that. So a couple ideas I had were things like maybe bracelets or something like that. I mean, just like something simple at the same time. So that's kind of what I was. That's another idea I had that kind of. Came into my mind and stuff, like, you know, because I also want it to be practical as well too and stuff. So t-shirts obviously is one of the most natural things that comes first to mind and stuff, but you know, maybe another idea I had was bookmarks. That's another idea I had. So we could just put our logo on there and maybe, you know, maybe put something edifying or something on there on top of that, you know, but also make it affordable as well too. I mean, we're not going to charge like $20 for a bookmark or something crazy like that, but like what I'm thinking is maybe for like, I don't know, $2 or $3 or something, depending on how we can get it, you know, created and manufactured and stuff. And we'd have to find a distributor for something like that because they would probably charge a certain fee and things like that as well. But bookmarks could be a potential item as well too and stuff, or maybe like when we're going out and meeting people, that could be one of our advertising things, like handing out something like that and stuff. I mean, just again, we're just brainstorming and generating ideas of what kind of things we'd want to offer. And you know, like a lot of companies, they can have certain product offerings and then they change them out over time because they see certain market trends changing or certain people are wanting something more than another. And we'll be able to gauge that through like statistical analytics or like things like when you see your sales through like Google, I think AdSense. There's other tools out there where it can show you your sales and show you what's selling well and what's not selling well. So to really capture what the demand is. And that's one of the reasons I was thinking Amazon might be advantageous for the t-shirt because they have all the facilities and things like that already set up. They have a lot of the overhead, so yeah, we pay a certain fee, but it reduces our overhead too of having to, you know, because we go through one central platform. So that's just a thought that I have on that, you know, and stuff. But any other product offerings you guys are thinking of? I mean, services, obviously, we're going and reaching the people. I think that's the thing that first comes to mind. So, but any thoughts you guys have on that? I know it's a loaded question.
I was going to say beach towels, but that may be kind of tacky. I don't know.
It's a fun one.
Yeah.
It's a fun idea.
Yeah. I can't remember the fabrics, but
if it's the summertime, then you go out in the beach. And
you know, maybe, you know, yeah, like I said, practical things, something along those lines.
Exactly. And then that's what I'm thinking. Because we want it to be practical, but it's something that people are really going to use.
Can I get some water?
Oh, we're doing a video for our first company meeting and stuff. It's a company I'm starting up, so yeah. Yeah. Thanks a lot, man. So we got somebody that's already interested. I guess our waiter was interested, guys. So, see, the word's already spreading, man. One person at a time. So, yeah, beach towels could be an interesting, idea. I think, you know, maybe for like our summertime apparel or something like that, or because I can see us really branding this as well too. But now for our products, do we want it to just have the logo, or do we want to have some text on it as well, or how do we want to make it so that it's edifying?
Yeah, some verses on it.
Okay.
That would be good.
Yeah.
How we doing, guys? Everything okay?
Doing great. Thank you.
Can I get some water?
Give me more water too?
Can I get a box?
Thank you.
To go box, please.
So, yeah, no, that's there's definitely some good ideas that we could definitely implement on that. I hadn't even thought of beach towels, to be honest. That crossed my mind now. Would we want to do sweaters or jackets or things like that, or?
I think so.
Yeah. So maybe Paul, like in the meantime, before our next meeting, you can maybe look into the Amazon side of things, like creating T-shirts, and see maybe find profit margins, or see what the charges would be to get shirts distributed and stuff and whatnot, because I definitely would like to try to get us to have our first company photo on the next meeting and stuff, and get that put on there and stuff. What I'm going to do in the meantime though for the website though is just kind of get our headshots on there and stuff like that, put a little basic bio and info and stuff, and then what I will do is you guys send me your descriptions, I'll put it on the website and stuff, like what you wanted to say and stuff, like, you know, about you and what you represent. Oh, thank you.
I'm sorry, that's yours. This is yours. And this is yours. And I'm going to your bags.
Awesome, thank you. So, that's what I'm kind of thinking on that end and stuff. So maybe if you can research that in the meantime for me and stuff, and just send me what info you find, because that might speed up our T-shirt production, and it also might help you as well on your other venue as well, because you had mentioned working on, because we talked about this before, like you were working on some shirts and stuff. So this could tie hand in hand, and I mean, we could even incorporate some of the products you have potentially in there, as long as it's fitting the business model and the vision and stuff. We could definitely incorporate that too, and so I don't see why not. So, you know, the other idea I had was, besides bracelets and things like that, was for services, maybe maybe we could provide like spiritual counseling and guidance and things like that, like praying for people and things like that, as far as our services and stuff. Maybe teaching them certain skills, like maybe James, like since you're good with like Photoshop or different graphic design stuff, maybe we could offer that as a service, like helping people to become better as artists and things like that, maybe, because that's a skill that you have as a craft. So, and then Paul, I know you're good on a lot of different things, so maybe you could have something that could be used in that service model side of things, where you could just maybe utilize your skills in that way to help build people up in a more prophetic way. So, you know, maybe that could be good as well too, as far as on our services offering, because we want to make our catalog of things diverse at the same time, but also not like just one product offering, and that's why I wanted us to generate these ideas, so we can see what we want to offer and sell, but also make sure it's very tightly aligned with what we want to do and stuff.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking. And in between our next meeting, we can definitely brainstorm and come up with some other ideas and stuff. So, and like I said, just feel free to suggest anything in the thread, even if it sounds really ridiculous or it doesn't sound like it's like, again, we're just all brainstorming and trying to get these ideas together and stuff. So, you know, that's kind of what I wanted to have a discussion on that about. And then, so for the website, this is part of the agenda to a certain extent, but for the website, what would you guys like to see on there besides the logo and the mission statement? Like, what would you like to see on there? And this is just basic ideas. You can always send me more after this meeting if you have other ideas. That's totally fine. I just want to get some initial input, because I plan on starting it very soon now that I've got the domain name and just getting it rolled up and stuff. I'm deciding if I want to go through Wix or a tool like that and stuff, but I want to go through something that's going to be easy to update and that's dynamic, because I don't want something that's like, I know how to do HTML and coding and things like that, but I want it to be simple drag and drop, because I want us to spend more time on reaching the people than I want technology to be used as a tool and a solution, but not spending so much time on the technology aspect that I'm taking away from time that I could be using to reach other people. Because I want it to be as simple as possible. So, but I'll start with you, Paul. So you want to share your input on that?
Pictures, right? Pictures of the city. That's where.
Okay. So pictures of San Jose, or?
Yeah, San Jose city.
Okay.
Overlooking.
Okay. Okay. Do you have anything you want to say, James? And again, just first thoughts. I mean, you can always say other stuff later.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably have a list of our services, I would think.
Yeah, correct. We want to have a list of our services.
We'll have to figure out what everyone can contribute in that regard.
So that's good. Yeah, we definitely want to have our product offerings and services. We also want to have probably a donation button set up as well too. So for that, and then have our company mission statement, have our company directory of employees and stuff. So
This just came up, dude. It's like Uber or what do you call that? Delivery. It's kind of like that. It's like you know how Uber is like. You put in your info and you put in I need to get to this place this time. And you have drivers, right? And then they receive the message. Okay, this lady needs to go to this right now. This place right now. So the driver has the option. I'm near this place, so I can do it. Or no, not me.
Yeah.
Plus, you send it to all the drivers, right?
yeah,
So it's basically the same thing. So it's like, because we're helping people, right? Like an old lady who can do her own thing, you know? So we got a bunch of people that, I don't know, volunteers or what. So the lady posts this, her chore or what she needs to be done within how much time.
yeah.
And then they send it to all these people. That's if they're available at that time, then they can go to that lady and help her out.
Okay,
So it's kind of like Uber, but it's or like
Yeah.
the
I know what
the
you-
WAG, WAG,
Yeah.
dog walking service or delivery service.
Yeah. Okay,
It's
so
kinda like that, dude.
that's not a bad idea actually. Just like taking people's requests and
Yeah.
stuff, and then just fulfilling. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. And we just take a certain percentage for the processing and doing the labor and stuff. Whatever the task may be. So we
It
set
can
like
be a volunteer or it can be
Yeah.
profit. Or
Exactly.
depends.
It just depends on what's involved in stuff. I mean, if it's something simple like, oh, can I take me to the gas station? I mean, that's one thing and stuff. But if we are going to have driving involved, we definitely need to make sure we expense everything accordingly and stuff too and stuff. Because, for tax write-off purposes and things like that and stuff. But we could definitely do that. I mean, like set up like a thing where they put in a request and stuff. That would probably require some application or development work, I'm thinking, if we want to do something like that. So I would definitely need to get an app developer or an app programmer or developer if we want to accomplish like a tool like that. We definitely could do that, but at the same time, we could, to keep it simple for the time being, because an app development thing, that's a whole project in and of itself. But what
You can do it on Facebook too. It's Facebook chat,
Well,
right?
see, that's what I'm saying is we could just do Facebook chat, or like they send it to our email list, and then we get it to their email list, and then we can, respond to it. But I think the Facebook Messenger thing would be a really good idea because it's very real time. Because sometimes email you don't always get to right away, right? Versus Facebook, you would get an instant notification set up for that. So that's not a bad way to go about it either, actually. That's actually a really good idea. I like that. That's really good for people we see and stuff, and or even like the people that don't have like even the people that like are unsure about it. You can just say things like, if you feel you want to donate to this, just let us know. Like, I mean, we keep the barrier low at the same time, but we also make the price like practical and reasonable at the same time that we do charge. Because we're not going to say, oh, I'll drive you to the gas station, I need $30. No, that's crazy. It's like
We're helping. We're not.
Yeah, we want to keep it though within reason. So like maybe like, I don't know, it depends on how far it is and things like that. But I'd say like if it's like, oh, I need to go to the gas station like down that street, that'd be like what, $3, $5, something like, something reasonable with, not to just completely gouge people and stuff. Because I want to make sure that when we're offering the services, like we find a way that we're helping people, but we also keep it affordable so that it's helping people in the bigger grand scheme of not just their own life, but even in their financial aspects as well too and stuff. We want it to be, differentiating through the love of Christ. We want it to be differentiating in that fact so that when people see what we're doing, they see that we're not like just every other organization that just does those kind of things. We just want to make it really differentiating. So that's actually a really good idea. I like that.
It could be a subscription.
We could.
And then there's But there's a limit per month of how many chores you need to be done.
Yeah.
How many hours.
That's
so,
cute.
so it will be limited. It's like nobody's taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
And you know,
Maybe like 50,
Yeah.
maybe like $30 for 10 chores or something like that, or I don't know, something along those lines. Do you have any input you
it's
want to
like
add
a
to that?
subscription, so the cash is flowing.
That's true. It would be an annual,
Yeah.
or it'd be a reoccurring cash flow. Yeah.
So you're saying like, I'm trying to understand what you're saying. Kind of lost me there.
It's kind of Uber, but it's a chore.
Oh, okay,
Since you need help, any help.
okay.
So these other people we're a network. So if you need help from fixing your light bulb, so the more we are, so somebody has to know something, you know. Somebody has the time to learn it, then help.
Yeah,
So when it's your turn, you need some help or something, even though it's a little thing or a big thing.
yeah.
So you have that a lot of network, and you can come in and help you out for a certain amount of time.
Okay.
Just think of an idea.
Does that make a little more sense, James?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I know. There was a lot of
Even
it.
walking the dog
Yeah.
or whatever, or taking you to the hospital,
Yeah.
or to your appointment.
So we take them through to you, right? Because you'll heal them, right?
I know.
You know, that's a good idea. I actually like that. That'd be really good for our services
Yeah.
catalog.
Yeah.
I really like that
Yeah.
idea.
It's kind of like Uber and Deliv combined together. You
Okay.
can do anything, you know.
And like you said, we
But
can
it's in the Simpsons. You know, the Simpsons. Have you
Oh,
seen
yeah.
that episode, the monkey, right?
yeah,
Oh,
the monkey. Yeah,
Something like that, dude.
yeah. No, that's true. That's
Somebody
true.
needs babysitting, like play with this
That's true. We could definitely.
shore monkey.
Yeah,
Did you see that episode?
I have. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's. I could definitely see that. That could be good for our services catalog and stuff, and expanding our offerings. And I'm thinking we could do a 2-tier pricing thing. We have a subscription model where, for a flat fee per month reoccurring, we do a certain number of like chores or help out, or you do it as a one-off thing, like like a certain amount for this, a certain amount for that. Like you delegate the price per task and like what the labor requires and stuff. And then for these services, though, we'd be providing the help and assistance and stuff, but I think if it's something like changing a light bulb, then I think that the customer or the person would have to provide the materials and things like that on it. I mean, unless it's like, like for instance, they're changing the light bulb. They need to have obviously the light bulb,
Yeah.
unless they ask us to buy the light bulb and they pay us for picking it up. I think that'd be understandable, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, or like, say they need help with fixing their computer and stuff, and you have to like buy certain tools and stuff, then we can always like expense it off like as an expense and things like that and stuff if that's the case. Or like, or if we have to tell the customer they need to buy a new operating system disc, then they would either provide us the money and we go buy it, or they would buy the disc and then we would do the installation. So these are just a couple of use case examples.
Okay.
So, but I'm thinking in general, though, for a lot of services, whether it's changing a light bulb or something around the house, it's like they would provide the materials, but we'd be providing the service essentially, like the help and the assistance and stuff. I mean, but again, certain use case scenarios could be adjusted accordingly if it's a sense where they want us providing the expertise to go and pick up the certain materials, but then they would pay for that as part of the overall product offerings or like what we're providing to them. So
Yeah.
I like that idea. That is
I'll
really
vacuum
good.
for somebody for 2 hours. I don't really care.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. You know?
yeah. Well, like you guys have seen some of
It's
those.
kind of like just like family, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got your,
Well, you guys have seen the crazy things on the internet, right? Where like people pay to be for friendship and stuff, where you
Yeah.
can be somebody's buddy for
Yeah.
like.
I almost did that, but then I just couldn't really figure out what to do with it, so I ended up not doing it.
Basically, you're, I guess, buying like friendship or companionship. Basically, like somebody will play on an hourly rate, like if you just be their friend or just talk to them. It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
that could be too, because
People are
sometimes you need
lonely.
that right away.
yeah, that's true. I mean, we could incorporate that in some way if we wanted to. But
Because if you're not using, for example, you have like 10 chores you didn't use, so that could be it.
yeah,
Someone to talk to, or
that's true, and that could be within
encourage
there.
you or whatever, or
Yeah.
have lunch or whatever.
And that could be within that reoccurring thing, yeah. If they want to do it on that that 10 chores for 30 or whatever we decide is the final pricing model. But yeah, no, it's good. That's good. I like that. I think we covered the services thing. As far as products goes, we've talked about T-shirts. We've talked about books, or maybe book rentals, I guess, in that scheme of things. I know bookmarks was mentioned as a possible idea, bracelets. Now, do we see any other potential ideas we want to take out of that, or do you think we're pretty happy with those product offerings for the time being? I think that covers a pretty good gamut of things.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. No, that works. That works for that. Now that we've got a lot of those ideas in mind and whatnot. So, going back to this, as far as like remarks and stuff moving forward. So, what would you guys like to see us have at the next meeting? What would you guys like to see in place? We talked about the website. I think that's a big thing, is getting that up and running, or at least getting a template, or getting something up and running. I mean, the website can be an ever-evolving, dynamic thing. It's just not like, you know, we create it once and then that's it. I mean, it's a very dynamic thing, but at least having something tangible so that when we're talking to people, they can see something with their eyes. So, but I'll start with you, and then we'll just go round table, like what you guys would like to see at the next meeting.
Yeah, basically what we talked about here. So just put it on print, you know.
Yeah.
On the website, you know, what services do we have, what's our goal, and how it started. You need a story too.
Of course, yeah.
So
that's true. That's true.
What's our core values?
Exactly.
That's what
Okay.
they'll know right away.
Yeah.
The heart of this.
There you go, man. Definitely. Do you have anything you want to add to that, James? I know Paul's pretty good about covering that kind of
Maybe
stuff.
some of the social media can be addressed.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a good another thing to get started as well.
I agree.
It's like also like we can connect to other like Alcoholics Anonymous too. So if there's someone who has a problem, if your family has a problem with this one, or a family member, then we can connect to different organizations that will help them. You know? It's like if it's a homeless, we can have connection with the homeless shelter and help them with the process. It's like some of these people that don't want to do it, they don't want to go through the process. The process is the hardest one.
It does, yeah.
You know, because you have to wait and all that stuff and follow up.
Yeah. So maybe it's like you're saying, like act as a benefactor, or a beneficiary.
Like whatever, advocate or whatever.
Advocate, yeah. You're basically helping speak on their behalf because they don't want to speak because
Or they don't have time. They're still dealing
it
with
could be
that
one
stuff.
thing or another, yeah. Exactly.
For them to go from A to B, and there's a lot of steps. So you help them go with that.
Cool.
Connect with the right people, so they can get their life on track and follow up.
Awesome. Yeah, so what I think I would like us to, I agree with all that stuff. We definitely want to have all that moving forward for the next meeting. What I'm thinking though is before then though, maybe within this week if you can, is maybe James, if you can work with that logo and just try to get a finalized one up there, then we can put that on the main banner on the main Facebook page to really give it some pop in. Like, because right now we need to put a logo and things like that up there. So that's what I'm thinking, is because you got the template from Paul because he's already posted on there. So maybe just like I said, put black around the text and the stuff, and then put the rest in white and stuff. And again, we can always create the gold and other images, but just have the main one on the page and stuff. So once you get that done, you know, and I'll probably, and then, you know, working with Ryan and stuff, you know, work on uploading that to the Facebook page, uploading the media and stuff, and just kind of maybe putting out like a list of the products and service we've talked about today and stuff. Maybe like we mentioned that to Ryan so that he can get this onto the Facebook page, because I figure like we'll start with the Facebook page and we'll expand out to the other offerings, but we just need to at least get the word out first, because we can always expand it to other outlets, because once you've created the templates, it's super easy, you know. So, excuse me, that's what I'm thinking would be a lot of our next steps in that, and I'm working on seeing if I have to give like a certain password access to you and Ryan for that, because again, I don't know if it's just tied to my login or it's like a unique login. I have to check that, but yeah, so that's what I think we definitely want to do, just to get that out there, because and then what I'd like to do is once that is done, I'll start doing working with you and Ryan about getting a Facebook blast out there so people on my friends list or people on our friends list, like each of us, can start seeing what we're working on and talking about and stuff. Because right now, they're just hearing about it through word. It's like I've mentioned it in word and things like that, but once they start seeing something coming out of it, then they're going to be like, I think it'll generate more buzz and excitement. They'll understand what we're trying to do. So I think we know what our next steps are and the goals that we have to do to take it and stuff. And I just want to say that during this process, I was very specific about the people I wanted to incorporate into this, like people that I know well, people with certain skills, certain talents, and certain people that are divinely connected. And I wanted to be in a way that I feel like we could all connect on that same level of vision. So I was trying to pick people that I knew would be able to put the time into this and see this vision, but also at the same time that would have the unique skill set in between your knowledge of the gospel and your aspects, your video and creative editing skills and stuff, and just I think what each of us has brings something important to the table, essentially, and whatnot. And one of the things I'd like to do as well for generating content is doing writing and stuff, and that's something Isabel's going to be working on for the website and stuff, is doing blog entries and things in that dynamic sense. So that's another thing that's going to generate web traffic and things like that, so the word goes out there. But I haven't decided what our blog schedule will be, but I'm thinking it needs to be on a very frequent basis, because with the way information travels and people's own engagement and interest, it's you probably want to put up blog posts at least at a minimum once a week. I'm thinking, more if possible, but I'm thinking a minimum at least once a week to get the ball rolling. So, and that's a discussion I have to have with her about that. But if you guys have certain information that you want to have as part of the blog, we can get that to her, and then she can curate that into that and stuff. And that's one of the other reasons I want to use a simple website, is so that it can be dynamically updated by other people if need be. So that way, let's say one night Paul gets this amazing vision or this idea and stuff, and he can just log on to the website and just put it on there and stuff, and he comes up with an idea, or you, or vice versa. So
okay.
So that's why I'm thinking about a tool like Wix, because you know the one I made for Zion, I used Wix for that. So it was very customizable, and I was able to teach Larry and Leslie how to use that. So that's kind of why I want to use something that's not super coding intensive, because I like WordPress and other tools like that, but WordPress can get very complicated very fast. So that's what Zion used before, was WordPress, and then once the one person left, they had no way of editing it or accessing it. And I don't want us to be in a situation where all the access is tied to one person to make changes, because the way internet content is, and we all know, it's very dynamic, and to keep people's interest, you need to update it on a very frequent basis. If you don't, people are just going to lose interest. It's just a fact, just the way things are nowadays. But so I think we definitely have the goals. We definitely know what we want to accomplish by the next thing. So I think our action items for the next meeting is we get the Facebook page up and running, so get the company logo on there and get some of the basic information and templates. Get the basic website up there. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect and even finalized, but at least get something up there so people can see it. And like I said, I've already bought the domain name, so I've already got that covered. And then also, Paul, you looking into Amazon and other outlets to get the T-shirts and stuff. And
there's a few.
what was that?
There's a few I think Shopify.
Which one? Shopify?
Spring shirt.
Spring shirt? I've never heard of that one. I just know Amazon does it.
Teespring.
Oh, okay. I'd heard of that one.
Spread shirt. I think spread shirt, Teespring.
So it's called Teespring?
Yeah, there's a Teespring and there's a spread shirt.
Huh. Well, like I said, compare what I would do is compare Amazon and maybe a couple others, narrow it down the pros and cons, and then give me a list of those things, and we can hash out which one would make the most sense for our business model, essentially. That's what I'm thinking. And then we can incorporate that into the website, like them going to a link or something like that to redirect them. Or like a button or something like that. Make it really easy to see or easy to get to. Like, you know, kind of like how certain websites have like an Amazon shop button or something like that, and they just click on that button and it takes them straight to the product. Like something like that, I think we'd like to do. So, because if you just put a straight URL, people are gonna think that looks like unprofessional. It just doesn't look that clean. If you make it simple and user friendly, I think it's gonna draw more web traffic and attention. So maybe get like 2 or 3 different options, get some, I guess, proposal type of information as far as like what they're going to charge and stuff, and then we can hash out which one makes the most sense and stuff, and then kind of choose from there, and then finalize the designs. That's what I'm thinking. So, and then as far as this video goes for this first meeting and stuff, well, I'm thinking this will be one of the first things we upload onto the Facebook page and stuff too.
Alright.
So we have something on there. So like if you can maybe edit it together and spin it together and stuff and get that, up on there.
Editing software. I don't know if we're gonna, if I'll be using that in the future. If I'll be using something different, but I can use what I have for now because we have, a lot of space in here where we just kind of. We're trying to figure things out we can cut out.
Sure. That's fine. That's fine. We can definitely work with what we got for now and stuff. And if down the road, if we want to invest in better tools and stuff as the company grows and things like that, we can definitely do that and stuff. And I mean, for now, we can just work with what we're provided and stuff. And I think that's totally fine. So that works. Is there any other action items you guys want to bring up that you want to have as part of what we bring to the table at the next meeting? I think we pretty much covered what we need to do. So there's getting the Facebook page up and running, just to summarize, look into the Amazon and some of the other t-shirt proposals. Let's come up with one, pick an option, and then make a set of the shirts and stuff. Maybe I'll create a Google form and ask for people's like shirt sizes and things like that. And then, because there's only, I believe, 6 of us, I believe, in the group, or I think there's 6, so shouldn't be that cost inducive and stuff. And then, from there, then we can have those ready before the next meeting, and then working on the website as well too, getting that, at least a basic image of that up and running with our product services and whatnot. So that's the next step. So, and I think it's fine. We should definitely do both a subscription model and a one-for-one type of task if we want to do that. I think it gives flexibility because some people, they may not want a subscription service. Like, it's great for the reoccurring revenue, and I definitely agree with it, but some people might just want a one-off thing. So I definitely think having that is a very, very good idea. So other than that, I just want to see if you guys have any other input you want to have as we kind of like wrap certain things up to a certain extent. So any thoughts or anything that you want to bring up, now's the time. You're good?
I think we're good.
I think we have a pretty good idea of what we need to get done.
Yeah.
And again, this is just the first meeting, so we just wanted to have this formal discussion and stuff, so we can all be on the same page. Because, again, we've been all talking about it, but I think it's good that we kind of come together so we can have an idea of this. And I've told the others in the group to watch this video and stuff to be informed about what's going on and stuff. And I'll probably have a one-on-one discussion with Isabel about the different things that have been going on and stuff, because she's going to be doing a lot of the blog writing, so I'm going to need her to help with curating a lot of that content, or at least getting a lot of the stuff for the website, like through the blog. So like when you guys come up with stuff you want to write, or articles or blog posts, we can have it, proofreaded for grammar and all that good stuff and whatnot, and then have it thrown up onto the website and stuff, because we can have a separate section for just blog entries or devotionals or different things like that, because I think that could be good as well. Because I mean, it doesn't have to be just ebooks. We could also do it just in that fashion as well too. So there's a lot of ways you can go about it. So, but yeah, what I would like to do as part of the next part of this, and kind of summarizing things in focus, is that we just kind of have a moment of prayer and meditation right now, and just ask God to bless this endeavor, but also help us to have mindful hearts about what we're doing in this. So actually, if you don't mind, Paul, you want to start this time around and give a prayer on this?
Lord, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for this company. Whatever and what you put in Zach's heart to come about this adventure that we're about to go with. And Lord, bless each and every one of us, Lord. Give us wisdom and revelation. Lord, the knowledge of you, so we know the heart of the kingdom, Lord. This is all about the kingdom life, that you wanted to give us, Lord. That came from heaven, that you're going to bring into earth through us. And Lord, and we just want to thank you and praise you, Lord, that we bless others as you have blessed us. And that's the main part of this company. Lord, we pray you, we thank you in Jesus' name.
Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right. So, all right, yeah. And this is the end of our first meeting for Kingdom Life Lovers. This is Zach. That's Paul. And you want to split around?
James.
So stay tuned for our next meeting coming up. It should be in the next month or two. I'll be posting out details for that shortly. We'll have that through our Facebook page or other avenues. So stay tuned for that. But until next time, peace out, God bless, and rock on. All right.